Hi all, today I'm going to talk about fear of food. So this came out of a podcast that I just did with a health coach, Caroline Milne, and she asked me about when clients are afraid of food. Now, she picked this up from looking at our website where I have a testimonial from a client who said, I used to think that food was the enemy. And I think this is very common with a lot of clients, that they really fear food and the impact that it can have on them. If I eat one bit of chocolate, I'll eat the whole bar of chocolate and then I'll end up going through the whole kitchen. So they try and keep themselves to a very narrow range of foods, eating the same foods every day, a very limited range of foods maybe, and have a big list of foods on their forbidden foods list that they're not allowed to eat. And what you're really doing when you are operating in that scenario is you're actually living in food scarcity, because you're physically not making food available for yourself. So your mind is constantly sort of half worried that it's going to be starved, and that there isn't good food availability there. And that is completely contrary to what you need to do when you want to bring your body to a place of safety around food and knowing that it's okay to eat food and there is food available and you will be able to eat food regularly throughout the day or throughout the week or whatever it is. So we talk about this sometimes in terms of magical thinking, that if I don't eat food, I won't eat it and then I'll lose all the weight and then I'll be able to start eating again. So the card from my 4 Energies of Emotion Eating card deck on this shows a bear, and what that really is about is preparing for hibernation and food scarcity versus food availability. Bears and other animals know that at times of the year there's a lot of food and at other times of the year there's very little food. And so they stockpile food for the periods when they're not going to have food. What we're doing in current society is actually deliberately not making food available to ourselves in our house, but that does not stop you from emotion eating or binge eating, does it? Because you still manage to find food. You still can go out and go to the shop, or you can order it in, you can have somebody deliver it to your door. So it never actually works as a strategy. And actually what you're better off doing is more like a bear, making sure that you've got food available for yourself and eating regularly throughout the day. Hunger is one of the biggest triggers for emotion eating and binge eating disorder. So remembering that. The second thing about trying to live in food scarcity a lot of the time and denying yourself that response to a natural hunger cue is that over time, your body is going to turn off its natural hunger and fullness cues. So we have hormones that are released in our body when we feel hungry, that's called ghrelin, and when we feel full, and that's called leptin. But when you have switched off those natural triggers and signals in your body, you are not going to know when you're truly hungry and you're not going to know when you're truly full. And that's very confusing for your body, because then that means that when you do eat, you can very often overeat and you can often go for too long a period of time without eating at all. So your body is not in balance, it's not in sync with itself, and that causes unhelpful eating, overeating and undereating, which of course triggers hunger, which triggers binge eating. We also talk about using food as a medicine. So understanding that, the concept of basic food rules and what we need actually has not changed over hundreds of years. We need carbohydrates, we need proteins, we need fats, and we need some essential food components in our diet because we can't manufacture them in our body. So remembering that food is morally neutral, it's not good or bad, it just is what it is. And our attention needs to be more on our bodies and what our bodies need and how our bodies feel when we eat or don't eat or eat this instead of eating that. So understanding that food is a medicine. And then finally, this is about eating mindfully. So we've got our little bowl of chocolate here. And when you constantly battle with food, it's likely that you rarely taste or enjoy it. So learning how to eat mindfully and giving yourself permission to taste your food, save your food, enjoy your food, and benefit from your food. And that's something that clients almost have to relearn as well, because what they've learned over time is that generally eating is a bad thing. I shouldn't feel hungry. I shouldn't eat food. And therefore, I'm not going to give myself permission to enjoy it or taste it or savor it or slow down and really appreciate what it is I'm actually doing when I'm eating. Instead, I'm going to try and numb out from it and ignore the fact that I'm eating. But of course, what that leads is to, again, overeating or grazing or mindless eating. So a very quick fly through the whole idea of fearing food and how to let go of some of those fears and trying to bring your relationship with food into a little bit more balance. All of these cards from the 4 Energies of Emotion Eating card deck, by the way, are Earth cards, which is all about your relationship with food, your body and yourself. Bye for now.